on, guys? Got a little funny story for you. Nothing technical about this video. It's just all a good story that just happened this morning. It's gonna be about the topic of customers that do not want to pay after you send them a bill for the services that you have already performed. And about a week ago, I had an emergency call for a compressor that kept turning off, and it's at a car wash. It's a little 7.5 horsepower compressor, a Curtis. The customer was concerned if the motor was somehow faulty. The compressor was less than a year old. You know, if there was a problem with the motor, he would want it to be warranted and stuff like that. But do not believe he bought it from us. So I get over there, you know, as soon as I parked, they asked me to move, you know, that the spot is for cars that are coming in. And mind you, they only had maybe like 4 cars at this place that looks like it can hold a capacity of at least like 50. So it doesn't look like business is doing too good, which might be part of the reason why they're arguing about this bill. So they had me move my truck a few times from place to place, saying, "Oh, we need this spot for cars. We're gonna have a car come in. We need to put it over here." And then I would watch, and no car would ever show up. The employees were having me just move my truck because they felt like it. Then when I went inside and I talked to the lady at the front desk, and I gave her my contact, like, "Oh, he's on the phone right now. He'll be a minute out." Okay. 1 minute turned into 2, turned into 3, and then that multiplied by 10. I waited for 30 minutes in their lobby. Then I finally get to talk to the guy, and he shows me where the compressor's at. And, you know, he tells me what's been happening. Check it out, turn the compressor on. As soon as I turn it on, I noticed that on the breaker panel, there's a spot where like a breaker should have been, but it was just an empty spot, so I can see through the panel to the other side. And as soon as I flip the switch, it would just throw sparks all over the place. And then after it throws sparks, I looked inside with my flashlight. I can see that it was still arcing because it was like really bright blue. And I amped the motor anyways, and the motor only pulled about 14 amps. But I already knew the problem, why it's amping out. You know, as soon as I can see it's doing that, give it a little while, and it's gonna amp out, no problem. That breaker's gonna trip. So then I went and get the owner, and I showed him physically what the problem was, and he's seen it. And I told him, you know, he asked me, "Are you gonna fix it?" I'm like, "No, I can't open up this panel legally. I'm not a certified electrician. You know, an electrician's not gonna do my job. I'm not gonna do an electrician's job. It's plain and simple." But then after all that, a week later, moving forward to today, this morning, he calls us and he complains about the bill for 2 hours of service and a trip charge. And you know, the bill is a little over $300, and he's complaining. And you know, he starts telling my parts manager, who also helps out with the phones and bills and customer service. He's kind of the guy that kind of does it all around the shop. You know, he's the supporting hand, basically. He starts complaining to him, and he begins to claim that I told him I didn't know what the problem was, that I didn't know if the motor had a problem or not, that he needs an electrician. And as soon as I heard that, I jumped up and I went to, he had him on speakerphone. I jumped up and I started yelling back at him. I started telling him, you know, that's bullshit. And I told him, you know, I told you when I was there that you need an electrician because the compressor's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I amp checked it, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, the amp check is even on the work order, how many amps each leg was specifically pulling. And I told him, you need an electrician because there's there's a problem in the breaker panel. Every time you flip the switch, it throws sparks. You need an electrician to come fix the problem. And then he wanted to start yelling back and saying, oh, my electrician checked it out and said everything's okay. Well, I kind of call him out on that in my mind. I don't think an electrician really told him everything's okay. I think an electrician probably fixed the problem and this guy thought it was done and over with and realized there's no arguing the problem with the breaker panel having a problem. You know, there's no arguing that. But he could definitely argue paying a bill for us, I guess, in his mind. But, yeah, it's just, you know, as soon as I started yelling and the guy wanted to yell back, it was funny. My boss was standing there, too. The owner of our company, he starts yelling at him on the phone as well, and it basically turned into us just hanging up on him over the speakerphone. But, I just don't get it. If people think like these services are free or what, it's like, I don't know how you call us and then expect not to get a bill for something. He started telling us that these services should be free because we didn't do anything. It still costs money to go somewhere for you. We're not gonna drive for you somewhere and wait on you for fucking an hour and then not get paid for it. That's ridiculous. How would you make money in your business providing your time and services for free and your professional advice? It's just not gonna happen, people. So if there's any business owners that watch this, when somebody like me comes to your building and you get that bill for $300 some, realize that a good service is not cheap, and realize that cheap service is not good. You know, the problem, I will agree, was fairly simple. If you took the time, you know, to just check it out for yourself, and all you would have done was just flip a little lever switch, or flip the lever of a switch, and you would have seen sparks yourself come out, and you would have known, I need an electrician for this. This doesn't have anything to do with the compressor. Well, it's on you. You know, sometimes these problems are so simple, they could be fixed by my customers. And, you know, sometimes problems are so simple, I give my number out in case a customer needs basic troubleshooting advice. And, you know, if I have my own list of things I give them of what to check, and if none of those things fix the problem, then I let them know, then go ahead and call my company and we'll schedule for me to get out there or somebody to get out there. But, yeah, it's just, I don't get it with people, man. It's dumb, is what it is. But right now, I'm at McMaster Car, picking up parts for a Curtis compressor, 75 horsepower. It's just these little push connect fittings. The ones I ordered are brass, but they got a plastic cap, which is no problem. It's just for an airline that gives a vacuum for the inlet valve to be sucked down and allow the compressor to actually compress air. And, you know, if you guys want, please leave me some comments of any stories that you've had with customers not wanting to pay. This is just one of many that, you know, I've got tons of stories of crazy things with customers, getting into arguments with them. I know it's not a good thing to argue with your customers and your client base, but I know the people I can argue with. I know the people I can't argue with. This was a first-time customer that I know has never called us before. None of our stickers are there. He's never bought anything from us. You know, even my parts manager wasn't happy with him claiming that these services should be free. And you know, so a guy like that, if he wants to talk bad about me, fine, I'll argue with him. As I know we're not going to do business with him, so fuck him, basically. But I do got customers that have, you know, said some stuff about me, but they do business with us, they pay their bill. I'll just go with the punches and let it pass by. It's not worth it. You know, it's not worth losing good business. And, you know, let me know if you guys want to hear some more stories. I can definitely tell you some more. You know, I drive all over the place. I got tons of time to tell you a story like this. But please, let me know some of your stories of what's happened. You know, if you want to make them long, short, whatever, I'll reply. I read everything. I do check my channel pretty often because of the fact I do it on my phone. So it's always right there with me, unless I'm somewhere with no reception, if I go up to the mountains or something like that. Alright guys, so you guys have a good day. Stay safe. Remember to wear safety gear, all that kind of stuff. And don't be afraid to argue with stupid people that you're not going to do business with. You know, if you're not going to do business with them, then fuck it, give them a piece of your mind. Alright guys, later.